This is the current top 10 in the world as things stand, and you can really make a case for any single one of them wearing that green jacket come Sunday evening. Xander Schauffele, a tremendous record around Augusta. Rory Mcilroy for the 8th year in a row going for that career Grand Slam. Dustin Johnson, the only previous Masters champion in that top 10 at the moment. Justin Thomas, he's been playing sensationally so far, tee to green this year. Hasn't quite got that win yet. Cam Smith, his last start a month ago at the Players, he was so impressive there, and he's got a tremendous record around Augusta, as does the world number 5, Patrick Cantley. Then you've got the two young guns, Colin Morikawa, the reigning Open champion, and Viktor Hovland. But we're going to start by talking about the top 2 in the world, and Jon Rahm goes into it as the world number 2. This is his record so far this calendar year. By Jon Rahm's high standards, it hasn't been incredible. Second in the tournament champions to Cam Smith at the start of the year, tied for 14th at the American Express. The Farmers Insurance at Torrey Pines, he had a chance going up 18th, the 72nd hole to win that. Couldn't quite get it over the line. Since then, it hasn't been bad, but nothing sensational. Knocked out in the round of 16 by Brooks Koepka at the World Match Play. Lacklustre for Jon Rahm so far. In stark contrast, this is the world number 1, Scottie Scheffler. And what a 2022 it's been for him so far, winning his first PGA Tour event at the Phoenix Open in a playoff against Patrick Cantley. Followed that up with a 7th place finish at the LA Open, the Genesis Invitational. Won again in tremendously difficult conditions at the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. Not a great showing at the Players' Championship, but then in his last start a couple of weeks ago at the Match Play in Austin, winning that as well. 3 wins in the space of 2 months, and it's propelled him to world number 1. So he arrives in Augusta in stunning form. But when I spoke to Butch Harmon, he said that would bring its own pressure and that this is a situation entirely alien to Scottie Scheffler.
He has the best record at the moment, and does he put a lot of pressure on me? Damn right it puts a lot of pressure on him. I mean, he's never been in this position. He's never had to deal with the media attention that goes along with being number 1. I can remember way back in '99 when David Duval was number 1 in the world. He was glad when he got off of being number 1 in the world, because the media pressure that it was put on him, he wasn't used to it. Scheffler is definitely not used to it because he's never had anything like this. So how does he handle it? This is going to be a big week for him, because he's going to be the number 1 guy, other than the Tiger Woods story, in the press room. And they're going to be all over him. You're number 1 in the world. What do you think about Masters?
Even though the world rankings tell a different story, I still think of Jon Rahm as the world number 1.
So do I.
Is he still the man to beat?
I would say so, yes. A month ago, that's all we would have been talking about. Jon Rahm coming in as the favorite to win the Masters. That he has not won a tournament this year is rather surprising. But having said that, it tells us the quality of the field in these events now, how good these young players are. I mean, look at this year on the PGA Tour, just about everybody that's won has been in their 20s. I mean, these young kids are coming, and they're playing good, and they're coming on your side of the ocean and my side of the ocean. So there is definitely a changing of the guard. There's no doubt about that. Is there going to be a changing of the guard this year at Augusta? Good chance.
So for the 8th year in a row, we come into the Masters with people asking if this could finally be the year that the world number 9, Rory Mcilroy, becomes just the 6th golfer in history to complete the career Grand Slam. He's coming in a little bit under the radar by Rory standards this year, because this is his record so far in 2022. Pretty underwhelming. He was only played 6 times. He started on the European Tour, decent showing in Abu Dhabi. The Dubai Desert Classic, he went up the 72nd hole, tied for the lead, the par 5, put it in the water, ended up making a 6 and missed out on the playoff. Viktor Hovland eventually went on to win that. But again, decent showings at the Genesis and at the Arnold Palmer. You might remember that he led after the first round of the Arnold Palmer at Bay Hill. Okay at the Players, he was on the tough end of the draw, had a decent showing in his final round, and then missed the cut last weekend at the Valero Texas Open, having decided to skip the World Match Play. But Butch believes that all the chatter being around Tiger could work in Rory's favour.
I actually think, because of the way this is all panning out with the Tiger thing and the fact that there isn't a really true favorite coming in this week, I think that works in his favor. I think a little of the heat will be taken off of him. For us, as a European network in Sky, we're talking about it a lot because we want to see it happen. I think he's got a little bit of a pass this year as far as the buildup and how everybody's pushing him forward. Now, having said that, he's got to go out and compete. We all know his game is built for Augusta. He's a high ball hitter, a great driver of the golf ball. two things you have to do at Augusta to win. You've got to drive your ball well and you got to putt well. He seems to be putting better than he's been putting in a long time. So, yes, I like his chances, but is there scar tissue? Is there something in the back of his mind that you and I wouldn't know about that only he knows about? And maybe because of the Tiger situation and the fact that some of the superstars haven't played up to superstar status, maybe that gives him a little bit more hope than he would have in the past. I mean, I would love to see Rory Mcilroy win the Masters. He deserves to have a career Grand Slam. He's one of the great players in the last 30 or 40 years that we've had in our game. And he's a wonderful guy. He's a great guy, and I'd be very happy for him if it happens.
Fingers crossed, Butch, fingers crossed. If it is to be an American winner of the Masters, though, Butch's pick is one of two men. They're both in the world's top 10 as well. One of them, the champion of the November Masters a couple of years ago, Dustin Johnson, comes into it as world number 8, the only man in this top 10 to have a green jacket to his name. And his other pick is the man 3 spots above him in the world rankings, Patrick Cantley. He's got a great record around Augusta. Butch thinks he could be a man worth a flutter on.
Cantley's game suits Augusta very well. He drives the ball well. He doesn't really have any weaknesses, other than maybe not having a personality, but that's just who he is. You know, he's not a bad guy because I know him, but he doesn't bring a lot to an interview, and he's not going to give you a lot of smiles and stuff, but he's damn sure got a good game.
DJ, another second green jacket for DJ. Showed a bit of form at the match play, didn't he?
DJ's starting to trend in the right direction. He's starting to work a little harder on his game, which I don't think he did very well in the offseason. He really had a real offseason where he didn't even play any golf. I know, talking to my son Claude, who handles him now, that he was very happy with what he saw at the match play. You know, DJ's DJ. I mean, the golf course is perfect for him. He can take it over. I'd love to see him get it going again.
We spoke about the fact that Rory maybe overthinks things and gets in his head too much when he gets to Augusta. DJ's strength is that he does the exact opposite.
You're never going to accuse DJ of overthinking anything. The funny thing about DJ, when you watch him play, he's one of the fastest players on the tour until he gets to the greens. And then he's one of the slower ones because he really gets out of his normal way that he does things. And he's so into it. His brother Austin reads all the putts for him with the aim point stuff. And, you know, he's been known to play a tournament with 4 different putters, a different putter every round. So DJ is a strange cat, but he still is DJ. And he could be the number 1 player in the world again in a few months. Who knows? Because that's his talent level. So I think he is going to be a factor. I think he's probably the one American that I would have to say that if I was going to put some money on an American to win the Masters, he'd be the one I'd put it on.
So certainly a case to be made for all 10 of these players. And this top 10 doesn't even include the likes of Jordan Spieth, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, or even the world number 973, Tiger Woods. Butch's pick, though, for this year's Masters is the current world number 47.
I'm going to give you an outside one that's going to shock you. He didn't play well last year. He's one of yours. He's a European Tour player. I happened to see him a month or so ago down in Florida, where he and his family were vacationing, and watched him practice. And I was very impressed. And I'm talking about Tommy Fleetwood. He's trending in the right direction. His game is back. He lost it last year for some reason. I had a great conversation with him a month or so ago when we were at the Floridian about his game. I watched him hit some balls. I said to him, man, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it, because you look like the guy that you used to. He has a couple things going for him. He's a high ball draw hitter, right to left hitter, which helps you at Augusta. We all know that he's a great champion. He can handle the situation. We've seen him do it in the Ryder Cup. So that's my outside pick for all of you in the UK that want to run down and put a few quid on him. Tommy Fleetwood's your man.